Aye.
And Mr. Denny.
Aye. Claudine, that brings us to your superintendent's report, and thank you for the pictures.
Oh, you're welcome. There are more coming. We have so many things going on. I'm going to lead off with having Samantha provide you with social media marketing update for you, and she's going to give you some additional updates. So Samantha.
All right. We have been very busy over here in marketing, as everyone else is right now. But over the last month, we have made several media appearances. We were able to do interviews with the Journal and Courier, WLFI, and Star City News about pool and zoo opening procedures. We have also done interviews with WLFI and the Journal and Courier about Memorial Island Phase 3 and the Carousel Project. Last week, we did TV interviews with WLFI and Star City News about the new Kiwanis Harmony musical playset over at Armstrong Park. And last week, Neil did an interview with WLFI about the penguin exhibit and groundbreaking on the Carousel Project. So a lot of positive buzz in the media right now for us and a lot of exciting stuff. We have been working really hard to create signage for all of the pools and also the zoo as far as our safety procedures for operating during COVID-19. We have also made it our mission on all of our social media platforms to provide timely COVID-19 updates and information to the community as soon as it becomes available to us from Governor Holcomb's office. So that's really been a valuable tool to us in communicating. And with that, I will segue a little bit into kind of just more of a social media update. Probably the biggest development since I gave a social media update last is that Lafayette Parks and Recreation is now on TikTok. And it's been a really great promotional tool for us so far. Last week, we did a McAllister Daycare Camp video, which highlighted our open daycare spots. And the week before that, we did a call out for lifeguards, which was actually picked up by WLFI. And as a result, John received more than 50 new lifeguard applications and had to open up another certification course. So that's really exciting. And our lifeguard positions are now full for the summer. So that's great. Let's see here. Our Facebook following is up more to more than 8,900 followers, which is a 12% increase since the beginning of the year. So it's pretty awesome. Our penguin exhibit and Loeb Stadium posts continue to perform the best out of anything that we post. People are so excited about that, both of those. Once we officially announced the new Harmony musical playset at Armstrong Park, we did a post about that also performed extremely well. And Instagram is where we have seen the most growth. We've had a 31% increase in followers since January of this year. We're up to more than 1,700 followers now. And we have been able to do a lot of fun engagement posts on Instagram. We're doing a regular weekly Trivia Tuesday post, which has really boosted our engagement. And lastly, I just kind of wanted to give the zoo education team a shout out. I think we should be really proud of some of the things that they've managed to do during the pandemic. They have been able to create some virtual education experiences this spring when we were not able to open as planned. They came up with the Sofa Safari series, which consists of a brief educational Facebook Live video with one of our animal ambassadors. It's been a really great way to continue educational opportunities while our in-person offerings have had to be canceled this spring. So I just wanted to give that a shout out and just talk about how great that's done for the zoo. And I think that's all I have for now.
Thanks, Samantha. We're going to go right into John's report on Loeb Stadium construction project.
All right, we continue to just move right along at Loeb Stadium. If you've been by there lately, you have seen a lot of the masonry work that continues to go up around on Main and along Wallace. They are now continuing to work inside some of those structures, the concession stand on the first base side, and also the home locker rooms along the third base side, which is along Main Street. Some of the precast concrete for the seating bowl is on site, and they're beginning to, or will begin shortly to assemble that. The next thing that you will begin to see here within the next couple of weeks is the lights will actually arrive. And I know they are in the process of coordinating with the engineer's office when the light poles go up on the Main Street side, is that there will have to be a temporary closure of Main Street so those lights can be erected. And they are planning a nighttime closure for that, for those lights to be installed. So those are some exciting things to look forward to, and will be, again, a pretty big change in the landscape over there at Loeb Stadium once the lights will arrive and the light structures begin to go up.
Okay, thanks, John. Next on our report list is the Penguin exhibit. So if you've had the opportunity to drive by the Penguin exhibit, it's really looking amazing. They worked on the landscaping last week, and that would have been Mike's maintenance and landscape crews in collaboration with the zoo team, doing that design work and really doing a great job to create a very appropriate landscape, trying to mimic that geographical area, but trying to find something that is very workable in our Indiana zone. So the exhibit landscaping is about completed, and the contractor continues to finish off that punch list, which there's just some minor things that are still going on. And then the penguins, we're waiting for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to go ahead and move forward through that permitting process. So we still have several different irons in the fire before the penguins can make their way to Lafayette. The Carousel Project, the contractor is mobilizing on that site. He's going to be utilizing the existing fence out there temporarily, but that will be a help to him. And they're working on getting temporary power installed into his trailer. So there's not a whole lot of movement that you're seeing, but there's still a lot of things that are going on and being coordinated. So we're moving forward there. And then, of course, Memorial Island project, that one is just about ready to get underway. The dredging contractor is moving forward with their plans as well. And the contractor should be installing the construction fence up around the project very soon. I've been working quite a bit with the Purdue Aquatic and Fisheries Department and learning a lot about fish specifically that are desirable in this body of water. And we've also partnered with DNR, so we're formulating a plan there for the restocking of the lagoon once this project is completed. So a lot of things just getting started. So you're going to start seeing a lot of change. And that's going to lead us right into John's wrap up with the aquatics and seasonal operations update.
As Samantha said earlier, we were able to fill our lifeguard spots. I think at the last board meeting, we were stuck around 70 or 71 lifeguards. And as a result of their efforts, again, we added a lifeguard class. We were able to hold our previously scheduled class that was to happen at Lafayette Jeff in April that had been delayed at the YMCA. So I want to thank the YMCA for allowing us to use their facility to get our lifeguard certified. And then we were able to host a class here last week, actually at Tropcanoe Cove that certified 11 more guards. So as we sit currently, we sit at 91 lifeguards, which is a little bit shy than what we thought we would need at the beginning of the season, but it is a much more workable number than 71. So we are excited to have those folks on board. We have the folks who were in the lifeguard class last week will actually go through their preseason in-service training tomorrow afternoon, and then they'll be ready to work. We have 2 aquatic facilities that have opened, Castaway Bay and Vinton, both opened on May 24th as allowed under Governor Holcomb's Back on Track Indiana plan. They've been very successful. They are, I believe right now, I think there are 2 public swimming pools open in West Central Indiana. We've had guests from far away at Castaway Bay from Terre Haute who have called to come up here. And through the first 14 days that we have been open, we've had favorable weather. And again, we're open at 50% capacity, which for Castaway is 175 people minus staff. So it's about 165. And for Vinton is 125 minus staff. So that's right around 117, 118. So through the first 14 days at Castaway Bay, we've had 2,899 guests for an average of 207 per day. That is up considerably over last year. We had 2,350 in that same time frame at an average of 157 a day. Our revenue to date at Castaway is 13,277, which is up over last year at this time, which was 9,691. Vinton has also been busier than usual. If you remember, Vinton is a pool where a lot of day camps visit. However, due to some of the restrictions on some of those programs that are operating, we have not seen an influx of those campers yet. Still, through the first 14 days, we've had 2,209 guests at Vinton Pool for an average of 157, and that's up 100 people exactly from last year. Last year at this same time, we had 2,109. A lot of those guests last year at this time were accounted for through day camps and such. But our revenue is $6,214.50, and last year at this time it was $4,163.75. And the other thing that has done very well at Vinton and Castaway to date are the concession of operations that we have at those 2 pools. The concession revenue, gross revenue there to date has been $6,627 in just 2 weeks, which is for those 2 operations, and considering what we sell out of those 2 small concession stands is quite a good return on our revenue. So we've opened up very successfly. Our staff are doing an outstanding job of disinfecting, of staying on top of the cleaning. We've had some trial and error with how we're doing deck chairs at each of those facilities, but that's helped us identify what can be successful. Hopefully, when we open Tropicana Cove up, hopefully under Governor Holcomb's plan, we'll open up this Sunday, June 14th, as we're getting ready for that. So, and again, I think once June 14th rolls around, we'll be at 50% capacity at the Cove. And I think the only other pool besides R3 that will be open in West Central Indiana will be Kokomo's water park. So again, while it's not ideal conditions to open up under, we have had some things happen, and I think will benefit pools, and at least through these first 2 weeks, folks have shown a willingness to come out and visit those pools and visit them in good numbers. And both pools are operating at capacity today and have reached capacity right around 1 p.m. this afternoon. So we've been operating off a wait list at Castaway Bay and people waiting to get in at Vinton as well.
Okay, thank you, John. Does anybody have any questions?
The only question I
Go ahead, Maury.
The only question I might have would be with the opening of the Cove, which will be a huge and only at 50%. anticipate problems with people there that are not happy that they can't get in? And if so, have you taken any measures for that?
I don't, certainly it's a possibility. I can only speak of what has been the case at Castaway in Vinton, where we haven't had anyone that has been upset that they couldn't get in. Most folks have been reasonable. They've come up, or they've called into Castaway. They've put their name on the waiting list. They've waited patiently. We haven't had any negative interactions with our staff over that. Now, some of the trial and error I spoke about was with deck chairs. I know last Tuesday, the really first hot day of the season, we had some patrons who were upset that we weren't allowing them to move their deck chairs on the deck and some other things. They wanted a deck chair in a certain spot. And we've made some adjustments to try to make that a much smoother process, certainly for our guests and for our staff. But I don't know. I don't anticipate problems. Certainly we'll have security on site. On Sunday, we do anticipate being busy Sunday. The weather forecast is good. So we'll have a security presence there to help with that. One of the things we have discussed internally and will have in place on Sunday for our season pass holders at the Cove is a season pass entry lane, kind of a fast pass where season pass holders can come to the gate and get in a different gate without having to stand in line where customers are paying, as a way to try to get our season pass holders in. Once we reach capacity, and I would anticipate we would reach capacity this Sunday, then it will become a matter of, keeping track of folks who are entering the pool and leaving the pool, so we know how many we can let in and stay underneath those, those guidelines that the governor and the health department are having us operate under. So it will certainly be interesting. But as I think Claudine might have mentioned in the last board meeting, we have had occasion in the past where we have reached capacity at Trocanoo Cove on a busy Saturday or Sunday afternoon, and have had to shut down entry to the water park for a period of time. And most people during those situations have been understanding as well, and have eventually been able to get in. So I would anticipate it running smoothly, but we'll be prepared for any circumstance.
Thanks, John. Pat, did you have a question?
Just a comment. It's impressive that the revenues are keeping up in spite of the pandemic. I think that's pretty amazing. So good job.
Thank you. And the only last one thing I did forget to mention earlier is that we have Boilermaker Aquatics, which is Club Swim. Obviously, they normally swim in a lot of local high schools this time of year, and also at the West Lafayette pool, which is experiencing some mechanical difficulties. They are renting Vinton Pool from us for the rest of the month of June, Monday through Saturday, from 7 a.m. to noon, to have club swimming that are concentrating on their older club members who are still, working towards improving times in hopes of gaining, the attention of some college coaches. So today was their first day down there, and they'll be with us at least through June the 30th. So we're happy to be able to have them, to help them out and to have them at Vinton.
Thank you.
Okay, that's going to conclude Superintendent's report for today's board meeting.
Before you move on, Claudine, can I ask a question?
Sure,
or
please.
something else? What's going on at Crosshair these days how's the current situation affecting the way that kind of rolls out and opens up?
With regards to the physical facilities and where we're at there,
So where it is on being used, and I'll be able to schedule some stuff there this year and all that stuff.
From a physical facility standpoint, it's about ready to be used. I know our team has been working hard on some erosion control methods to the north and the east not on the fields by any means, but the area surrounding it. There's some dramatic grade changes there. So they've been working on some things there and some additional details around that building and facility. But John is our liaison for all of our user groups. So he has been working hard with that group to prepare them for the time that they do take the field. So they should be released to take the field in the next couple of weeks. And I think they're intending to start July 1st, John, is that?
Yeah, they're going to start Lafayette girls softball. They're going to start practices in July with their eyes on a fall season. I do believe they have a tournament scheduled to happen there the weekend of July 9th. So I think that's, I think July 9th is a Thursday. So starting July 9th through that weekend, they'll have their first tournament. I think it's, I'm not sure how many teams, but it's quite a large tournament. So that'll be the first time they have games. We've got just a few items left with the batting cages to get ready to go. And then, you know, the playing surfaces in the field for all practical purposes are ready to go. They've just been waiting for play. So they are anxious. I can tell you they are anxiously awaiting time to
I'd say that's an understatement.
I'll bet, yeah.
They're very excited and you know, completely understandable as to why.
Thank you, that's great. Great news.
Okay, that takes us to the approval of attachment A. So if we can have a motion to approve attachment A, which is changing the current fees of Tropicanoe Cove of the season pass from $150 to let's see that currently it's $150 with $50 for each additional member, and it would be changed to $100 and $30 each additional family member, and the water walking season pass would go from $60 for the season to $50 for the season. Do I have a motion for this proposed fee change for Tropicanoe Cove season pass?
So moved.
Second?
Okay, John says you got your name there, so.
Yes. So as you can see there, last fall or winter when we came to you, we proposed some changes to our season pass structure at Tropicanoe Cove. It was originally intended to increase that fee from $100 to $150, and then $50 for each additional family member. Due to COVID-19, obviously, and the delayed opening of Tropicanoe Cove, and plus also the first 3 weeks being at 50% capacity, we would propose that we sell 2020 season passes at the 2019 rate of $100 for the first pass and $30 for each additional family member. In that the water walking pass, which we had proposed an increase of $10 to $60 for the season, that we would sell that pass in 2020 at the 2019 rate, which was $50 per season pass.
So John, had the higher prices been marketed out there? Were people aware that there was going to be an increase?
We had put it on certainly on our website. We hadn't really done a real marketing push. We had 2 families who had purchased Cove season passes prior to March 25th, prior to the pandemic and the outbreak. And really at that point in time, those stopped. So we only have 2 families that have paid the previous 2020 rate. What we have proposed to do for those families is to extend their passes through the 2021 season. And then as a way to accommodate all other season pass holders that wish to purchase season passes to sell them at the 2020 rate. And those passes that we will sell from this point on will be good for only the 2020 season.
So I think this is a really good faith effort to recognize the shortened season. And part of my question is, will that be perceived publicly that way? So, you know, I'm not suggesting a change. This is more of a marketing point. I think this is fine, but people who come in and say, well, why am I paying full price when the season's short, may not realize that they're actually getting a discount because the original price, or the price for 2020 was intended to be higher. So it's just something to be kind of aware of dealing with the public. Because, you know, I think you guys are making a good faith effort to recognize that, you know, the season's short and the services won't be, you know, what they used, out of our control, but not what they're able to get in the past for that same amount. So just something to think about
And then,
explain it and publicize.
sure. And the new signage, Pat, that is up at the Cove does have the 2020 rates that the board approved in December.
Okay.
So
Okay,
those
good.
rates are
Okay.
advertised, and as they've been calling, we've been explaining what we wanted to do. And
Good.
most of our season pass holders are returners, and most of them have been very agreeable that we're making that effort. And I think that, along with the fast pass lane that we're going to institute for these first couple of weeks to get them into the pool, I think are, as you said, showing a good faith effort on our part to try to accommodate those folks who are our season pass holders.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions?
Hey, John, real quick, it's Matt. How many season passes do you usually sell at the Cove?
It's normally up over, once you counter all the additional family members, we're easily close to over 200 folks.
Do you see the fast pass lane, so to say, creating issues with some of those folks thinking they're automatically going to get in, or?
Potentially, I think where we might run into a challenge is after we reach capacity, and then and start to form what is a waiting list or a line that someone with a season pass coming to the fast pass lane to sort of, you know, jump the waiting list, so to speak. That could be kind of a challenge. The season pass holders that we've allowed season pass holders to use their passes at Castaway and Benton these last couple of weeks. Those season pass holders, and we're not making any special accommodations for them at Castaway and Benton right now. They realized very shortly that in order to get in, they're arriving well before noon at those pools. So I think somebody on yesterday, our first guest arrived at the same time our staff started arriving for the day, which was right around 10:20. So, you know, the line started to form early. So we'll see. And one thing that we are planning to be is very flexible, you know, and adaptable to make sure we're, you know, if we see something that isn't quite working as intended and we can do it better, you know, we're going to try to make that switch.
Great, thanks.
John, what's the, remind us again, when do you go from 50% and you get off the 50% status?
July 4th under the governor's
4th.
plan. So
So 3
everything
weeks.
stays on track. It's 20 days exactly. So,
All right.
and that July 4th weekend forecast looks really good right now for pool weather. So not that I've been checking it every day, but
Any other questions or discussions? Hearing none, John, you want to call for a question? You want to have a roll call vote, please?
yes, Ms. Corey,
Aye.
Mr. Mecklenburg,
Aye.
Mr. Metzger,
Aye.
Mr. Denny.
Aye.
We lost your audio, Maury.
That brings us to the declaration of, and we have 2 pages. Did you see that, David?
Yeah, but I'm not going to do anything with it. I'm ahead of it
I
now.
need a motion for the declaration.
Nobody do it. That makes more.
Did you make the motion, David?
Yeah, I will.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion, Mr. Mecklenburg?
Why do we have so many darn roosters? That's my only question.
I do have just one clarification at the, just to make clear at the bottom there, those art statues are, which were made out of recyclable materials. And that's just to declare these surplus, so then we can enter into discussion about what our next step with those statues are. So they are currently displayed on zoo ground, and we're going to be removing those and finding the next best solution for those statues. And so that is misleading there on the attachment. They're actually recyclables, made out of recyclables.
Okay. Any other
Why do we have
questions?
so many? Why do we have so many roosters, John?
That would be a question for the superintendent.
Well, Dave, let me share with you. So we've had some reproduction.
Imagine
And then
that.
we end up with a bevy of roosters, and the hens, we've lost some hens over the years, but we always seem to end up with more boys than we have girls. And Neil's had enough of the rooster fights over there. So we're going to move some of those roosters out to some new homes.
Okay, John, I think we're ready for the
All right.
question. Would you like to have a roll call vote, please?
Ms. Corey,
Aye.
Mr. Mecklenburg,
Aye.
Mr. Metzger,
Aye.
Mr. Denny.
Aye. I see that Tim is with us today. Does Tim have a report?
Hi, Maury.
Hi,
I
Tim.
don't
I
have a
didn't know.
report. I'm doing well, thank you. Don't have a report yet. Once we get into full swing and start generating some revenue, then the controller's office, we will report.
Okay, well, I didn't want to ignore having you here today. We appreciate your help with everything and your work. So thank you for joining us today.
Oh, you're welcome. Yes, happy to be a part of it, and I'm glad to see some things opening up. It's time, and I hope the aquatic centers have a great hot summer, and we can generate some money to pay our bills.
Okay. I'm having some communication problems, so if I overstep somebody, yell at me, John. That would bring us to communications from the board. Do we have anybody on the board with any questions or comments? Hearing that, I would just say that I have been over at the park the last 2 Monday mornings at one of our nice shelters there in Park Avenue for a bunch of our old retirees to have breakfast. We bring our own, and we get there and able to eat outside and feel comfortable. And it's a nice place to have a get together. So they're always very clean, even though I bring my own little spray and spray it all down. It's always very nice. It's always nice to see our staff there cleaning. I would also say, and I have a feeling it's probably a change in staff personnel, that over at Munger Park, the cleanliness of that park is so much better than it has been in several years. And it's just very nice. And one thing I would say is that I think I find more geese droppings out on the Union Street sidewalk than I ever see in Munger Park now, which is very nice. So thank you.
Thanks, Maury. We'll be sure and pass that along. John, your screen's up.
Yeah, there we go. Any other board members with anything?
Nice multitasking,
Maybe
John.
have any. Lovely.
He's forgiven. Work is always good.
Any written communications, John?
No, there were not.
Okay. I guess that we're at a place where I need a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Do I have a,
Second.
we've had a motion moved and seconded. Do we need a roll call vote, John?
I think we did the last time.
Okay.
Ms.
Go for
Corey.
it.
Ms. Corey.
Aye.
Mr. Mecklenburg. Mr. Metzger.
Aye.
And Mr. Denny.
Aye. Thank you, everybody, for attending today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Aye.
everybody.
This conference is no longer being recorded.
That's just great, isn't it?